Hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Shades of Romance. In today's episode of Shades of Romance, we're going to tackle a subject that has kind of come up with the Lady Mavericks over the course of the last few years, and it's a subject that in some ways it's not been easy to tackle, but I'm going to do my best to try to do it. Let me give you a little bit of narrative. Many of you ladies have said, Prince Magnum, we wish there was more guys like you out there who appreciate the art of romance. And that's a select group of guys who really do appreciate the art of romance. But that's not to say that the rest of the guys out there that really aren't into the art of romance, they're not necessarily bad guys. So the Prince Magnum channel, to not only talk about what types of guys are out there, but to also give credit to some guys that kind of deserve some credit. Okay, they may not be the romantic type, but they deserve a good pat on the back. So that's what this video is going to cover. Maybe one of you ladies out there, one of you Lady Mavericks out there, might actually have one of these, one of these guys. And we also have to touch base on a subject that, unfortunately, there's also a type of guy that isn't so good. All right? And we're going to kind of point that out, but we're also going to point out why there is some of those guys. Okay? So, without further ado, because I do everything old school, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I know. Wow, what is that? Is that like some ancient papyrus? No, that's this is paper. Anyhow, for you kids, old person joke. Anyhow, there are 4 types of guys that we're going to talk about, and this is good. Just kind of bear in mind, this is a general, just kind of a general overview. Okay, guys are a little bit more complicated than that. All right, the first type of guy we're going to talk about, and I've used this term before. When it comes to social media, it's something that everyone will kind of understand. That guy. Now, that guy, if you will, is that guy that you hear about on social media. He's abusive to his woman, can't stay off the drugs in any way, shape, or form. You know the guys I'm talking about. They're, these are not very good guys. They treat women horrible, okay? They talk down to them, they belittle them. They're chauvinist in a lot of ways. Ironically enough, where I live, there are actually still men that think a woman's place is in the kitchen, or things like that. You ladies know what I'm talking about. These chauvinistic men, or the drug addict men that are abusive to women, and the list goes on. They're the ones that treat women bad. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to be a little controversial in this subject. Any woman that gets with them, knowing, kind of what they're walking into, it's one of those things, okay? Ladies, if you're with a guy like this, and he treats you this bad, and you put up with it, I'm going to leave it there. Now, but before we just leave these guys thrown under the bus, we will swing back around to the, these guys that are just, they make men look bad. We are going to swing back around to them a little bit later, and you'll understand why. All right, the second type of guy is what I'd like to call the average guy. Now, the average guy, he goes to work, and he makes an honest living. He comes home to the family, keeps food on the table, roof over your head. Ladies, this guy is not really interested in romance. He's just interested in being a good other half to you, okay? And he's going to keep food on the table. He's going to try to keep a roof over your head, clothes on your back. He's going to even be the best possible father you can ask for. He's always, he may not always be the most emotional kind of guy or that sort of thing. But he's going to try to make sure that the kids are always taken care of. Now, ladies, just because he's not a romantic type, and occasionally he might actually pull that off, but for the most part, even though he's not a true romantic kind of guy, is there anything wrong with him? No, there's not. There's a lot of these guys out there that they go to work, they try to provide for their family, they try to provide for you. To them, they're doing everything imaginable to keep you happy. Ladies, there's nothing wrong with these guys. These guys deserve a Prince Magnum channel pat on the back. Great job, guys. You know, now unfortunately, because some ladies will occasionally put high expectations on these men, sometimes they get lumped in with that guy. It's not that they're necessarily bad guys. They're just not the romantic type. They're good guys. So, for you ladies out there, if you've got a other half that's just like this, be sure to tell them you love them today, because these guys don't get enough credit for being good guys. All right? So there's our average guy. Our third guy, and ironically enough, there's more of these than you think. The gentleman. Okay? There are a lot of guys out there that are really gentlemen. The age of chivalry is not dead. Okay? A lot of these guys, the proper gentlemen, they'll still hold a door open for you. They'll help you with things that are heavy. Ladies, there are a lot of these guys out there. I know several guys, several of them, not just where I live, but kind of around the world, that will still, if they see a woman in danger, they will rush to her side to protect her. They don't even know the woman's name. These guys don't get enough credit. Now, when it comes to the world of romance, again, this is going to be a hit or miss. Sometimes they'll nail it on the head. Sometimes they won't. But you'll always see an honest-to-goodness effort, okay? They're hardworking, just like the average guy. But with them, the age of chivalry isn't dead. They're not pulling out their frickin' cell phones and getting video picture whenever a woman's in distress. No, they'll rush to her aid. And believe it or not, there's still a lot of these guys out there. A lot of them. Okay? So, Lady Mavericks, if you've got what I just described, a proper gentleman, be sure to tell them that you love them today. Because, unfortunately, in this world, the world that we live in, there are some women that will go out of their way if one of these gentlemen will open a door for them or go to help them with something. They'll look at them and say, I'm an independent woman. And it kind of stings them a little bit. You know, if you've got one of these proper gentlemen, let them know you still appreciate it, okay? And so if you got one, make sure you let them know you appreciate it. I can't say that enough. There are more of these than you think, but unfortunately, the numbers on them starting to dwindle, and it's kind of some of you ladies out there that are dwindling those numbers. All right? Well, so far, we've talked about 3 different types, and I mentioned a 4th type. Yeah. This is the category a lot of you ladies put me in, and I do appreciate it. It's awfully kind of you. What type of guy am I talking about? You guessed it, the hopeless romantic. Now, the hopeless romantic is just like the first two, the average guy and the gentleman, has all the same qualities. The only difference is he lives and breathes romance. To him, this is life, living the romantic life, doing the sweet things for their other half. Is there anything wrong with these guys? Hell no. Unfortunately, here I am, as the making of this video. I'm 43 years old, and there used to be a lot more of us, but unfortunately, there's a whole lot less of us. We're extremely sensitive guys, and unfortunately, there are women that go out of their way to find guys like us, and they'll let us sweep them off their feet. We'll do everything special for them. We'll pretty well give them the world, but then they'll break us. They will break us in a way that we will look at the world of romance and say, never again. And in some cases, we get broken up so bad, we end up in that category of that guy. This is an actual thing. there are women that go out of their way to find the hopeless romantic man, the man that you read about in story, that again lives and breathes the world of romance. Us hopeless romantic men, will go out, we'll work our asses off to keep a roof over your head. We will do our best to help. We'll do our best to help you raise a family. To be a good father and all that other stuff. We will charge into battle for a woman we don't know. Because to us, the age of chivalry is still not dead. Even though there's no story being written about us, we act like there is. Okay? We are an unusual breed. But again, there are women that go out of their way to break us. And some of us end up in the bottom of a bottle doing drugs. And end up in that category of that guy because we are so heartbroken by what some women do to us. There's even fewer of us. There's so few of us, in fact, I've actually heard a few of you ladies call the hopeless romantic man the unicorn of the male gender. I've also heard some of you say that getting with a hopeless romantic man is like catching lightning in a bottle. We do our best to bring the world of romance, and there is a whole lot less of us than there used to be. I remember when I was a young man, I remember being able to find several of us here and there. We were in short supply anyways, but I used to be able to find several of us, if you will, I guess you could say a good large 2 handfuls. We were in short supply when I was a young man, but there's even fewer of us today. There's a whole lot less of us. But what ends up happening is a lot of women go out of their way and break us. I mean, it's unfortunate. I myself have experienced where women have tried to break me, but I'm still an extremely sensitive man, because most of us are in the hopeless romantic world. We are very sensitive. I'll tell you straight up honest. I myself I'm extremely sensitive, but I refuse to let someone who tries to break me win. Okay, but a lot of us do end up getting broken up so bad. Forget it. You'll never get us out of that world. We are oftentimes so broken, we end up on social media as that guy. So unfortunately, for a lot of you out there that want to, kind of ream, those guys that are in that category of that guy, don't be that guy. A lot of them actually used to be hopeless romantics. That's some serious irony, isn't it? It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So that's kind of your 4 categories of guys. Now, again, most of us guys are going to vary from category to category. It's not going to say that, a guy who starts off as an average guy isn't going to do gentleman-like things. It's just the bulk of their life, in one way or another, they're going to fit into this category, okay? So just kind of bear that in mind. Again, an average guy is going to do some romantic stuff, but again, it's not like he lives and breathes it. Just like the proper gentleman, he's going to do everything an average guy is going to do, but he's, when it comes to the world of romance, it's going to be, hit or miss. And even those guys that I mentioned before, that guy, sometimes, in some cases, they were a hopeless romantic that got broken pretty badly. Good luck bringing them back. Or in some cases, occasionally lightning strikes twice, and that guy might actually do something romantic. But most of the time, don't expect it out of them. Most of them are pretty screwed up. Okay, so just kind of bear that in mind. And in some cases, because the hopeless romantic man, sometimes he's, his heart just isn't in it, because we're extremely sensitive people. We can also experience every one of those categories prior to. Sometimes even I have my moments, and I end up in the category with that guy. Sometimes I have my moments where, hey, that's just part of being human. But by and large, most guys are going to fit into one category or another. Just doesn't mean that we're not going to travel around, I guess you could say. All right? Part of life. Part of life, you know. Nobody's perfect. All righty, so I think I pretty well covered it all. Yeah, pretty well covered it all. So, as I like to say here on the channel, let's pay some bills. All right? Get on over to Teespring. Check out all the merchandise for the Prince Magnum channel. We've got merchandise of all sizes and shapes, from Project Spirit logo merchandise all the way down to even cinnamon merchandise, which I guess with this series, again, I'm probably going to have to get my button gear and consider getting some Shades of Romance t-shirts and the stuff made up. Alrighty, so that also brings us to the spot where I have to mention Patreon. For $1 a month, all proceeds go back into the Prince Magnum channel in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's making videos like this, or goes into the project cars, you name it, it goes back into the channel. I think that pretty well covers it. So that brings us to a good stopping point for this particular episode. Like always, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is, just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. As always, for every last one of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.